Hey guys, you might remember the chill pill video I posted a while back. A lot of you loved the video, so today I'm bringing the upgraded version, default mode. This is often the first concept I teach my students in my coaching sessions, and this video is actually the opening lesson of the WINNABLE Academy curriculum I just launched. Check the description if you want to see full curriculum, and let's get into the video. What we're going to be learning today is we're preparing ourselves to be able to see the information, scout the information, and we're gonna do that by doing jab as well. Okay, so why can't we really scout? That's because of fixation. Okay, so I'll just show you a great example of fixation here. So this is like high diamond, like mid master tracer, and what does this tracer see? First, we see the Doomfist, and then we're gonna be shooting Doomfist, and then we're gonna be seeing Doomfist, but then we're shooting Illari. But now, if you think about this, was this player intentionally looking for other information, or did it just happen to be, did Illari just happen to be in his vision? It's, the latter, right? So he wasn't actively scouting. It just happened to be in his vision. He's pretty much like very much autopiloting. He's not looking for, enemy, position or my team's position. If my, team is able to heal me or whatever, right? We're just keep shooting, whatever is in front of me, right? And then because the entire sequence, everything is so intense, he doesn't have time to really scout. Yeah, he's having like a very intense fight for 5 second, 10 second, and now he kills the Kiriko. But did he intentionally scout for this Kiriko kill? No, it just happened to be there in his vision. But if you think about amazing pro players like Top Dragon, even if the Kiriko TP'd like all the way over here, if you can see my mouse, and I think Top Dragon definitely listens to the sound cue and then sees the kill, and potentially if they're in range, to go for the punishing that enemy Kiriko for having no cooldown and low HP. And this is what I mean. So why is this player not able to scout? Because I really think most players, including this example, are not even interested in scouting, not even interested in gathering information, and we just get addicted to doing damage and damage addiction, and then and this could be healing your team or whatever. And then now when we don't even have our recall, we just go in, and if you watch this, when he died, his team is all the way back here. His team was pretty far back, so we didn't even actually scout where our team was, if you can see, right? So this is the great example of fixation and damage addiction. And most people don't really understand the importance of the info, right? And I think if you guys want to feel this again, like if you guys still haven't watched this video, I highly recommend watching this. This is pretty easily consumable, right? And you will see what I mean by this is what Woo Hyung means by we should be seeing these the key resources and exposure and like these information basically. Okay, so this player who's basically in fixation was not seeing his team position or his own cooldown even, and then basically tunneling, right? So this is why we cannot do get information. So now what should we do for scouting information properly? We need to be ready. So we need to be scouting and resource doing the resource management and going for the job. And what I mean by that is, if you're constantly non-stop fighting, aggressively like this player, like fight, you don't have a time to take a breath. You don't have a mental room to basically look around and see what's going on. You need to be able to afford to scout and look around. Like imagine if there's a serial killer literally chasing you, like holding a gun or holding a knife, like literally right behind you. Like how would you have any mental energy to look around or anything like that, right? This is a very urgent situation. And see, like enemy Doomfist is right up in his face, and this is Doomfist engaging, but even besides that, he's always like into them, like getting really up in their face, even though he doesn't have a lot of cooldown. This is kind of like the reason why essentially we're not able to scout. So as our default mode, we need to be doing the opposite. We want to be not getting too close. We don't want to be shooting them 24/7, we don't want to be using all our cooldown all the time. So damage is actually secondary, and scout and seeing what's happening is the number one thing. So if you want to truly understand this, you need some level of understanding for stages of the game. There are stages of the game, the flow of the game, and the stages of the game is basically there's a pre-fight and poke stage and mid-fight. So basically, pre-fight is going to be you come back from the spawn, and then you before you start seeing the enemy, okay? And then once you start seeing the enemy team, now you guys are like poking, like shooting at each other. Like there's a little bit of like engagement here and there. But then now when our tank engages on the enemy backline, or both team like basically tank butting their head and into each other and using all the cooldown, that's when the mid fight, the spike happens, right? So basically what we want to do is, okay, so I mean obviously there's nothing happening in the pre-fight, and once we get into this poke phase, once we start seeing the enemy team, then now we don't want to be like all in just doing damage, like go like spending all your resources fixating on the enemy team. We really have to be scouting for the right opportunity, and we're looking for who is far from cover, who is not looking at me, and when is my team engaging. Am I keeping good distance? Am I close enough as Reaper? Am I farther away enough as like Emery or Sojourn? Where's my heal? Am I getting healed? Is there any like isolated target? Like we want to be looking out for those signals basically. And once we see a good green light, or once we see a good red light, or once we see our team engaging, or it doesn't even have to be your team engaging. You can literally see maybe like a Zenyatta who's isolated, and then you can go in alone and you can have your own spike, right? So basically, we want to be in like we want to be ready. We want to be in ready state, okay, until we have a clear evidence to go off of, okay. And if you keep fixating, like doing damage, and then like just not even scouting, busy 24/7, you're not going to be able to do this, okay? So I'm going to show you some examples of what I mean by the default mode. Okay, so this is going to be Top Dragon doing Unranked to GM. Okay, so okay. This is Agent Surfer. So if you guys want to, okay, so now he gave TP to his team. So how much resources does he have? Like he is maintaining almost the two blinks and a recall. So like he's maintaining good level of resources, right? And then now, is he going all the way in immediately? No. I mean, he's literally doing Unranked to GM, and he is this is the video that he did a 43 win streak, but he isn't going in like immediately. He isn't doing a lot of damage immediately, right? He's just scouting. Okay, so my Winston isn't going in right now, and I guess my like Sombra or whatever is flanking behind them. Okay, I see enemy Hanzo and Ana there. Okay, so and I see Orisa like looking at me. Okay, so he's changing angle a little bit. So also this is important thing. Is he literally like sitting behind Copper doing nothing? No, he is pretty far away where he's not losing too many resources. This is important. So he's maintaining like a 70% of resources basically, so to say, right? He doesn't have to use all the recall, or like he doesn't go below half HP that often. But he's definitely scouting, gathering information, and he's like at least distracting. He's doing something, and now he is using one resources, the blink, to this side, because he wants to basically go for the jab. So what I mean by jab is, if you think about the boxing analogy, there's like jab, 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 which is non-committal, and you're not all-inning. But basically, if you go for like a hook or uppercut, I'm not a boxing expert, obviously. Then you're, I mean, as far as I understand, you basically put yourself in a more situation that are more vulnerable, because enemy team can actually counter you, right? So he just, as you can see, almost 3 blinks, full HP. This is how he's maintaining his resources. But then, is he doing nothing? No, he's distracting the brig. He's trying to do some chip in some damage, right? And then scouting. Okay, and he sees, okay, enemy Orisa's pretty deep in, and my monk is, doing something, or my monk is actually going in, so he's doing pretty big damage. already. This is jab. And then now, this is a spike. He see the team engagement, as you can see, sinking. And then, was he ready to go in? And did he see this key evidence that my team is engaging, my Winston is engaging? Yes. So he was ready, not wasting all his cooldown or whatever. And he also saw this like big green light, big evidence. He didn't miss it because his scouting is obviously really good. Yep. And then now his monkey died. Nothing much we can do about it. You know, this is like, you know, probably platinum or gold or whatever. And but despite that, he has almost 3 blinks and recall full HP. Isn't this amazing? He's already very close. Because he leveraged off of the Winston distraction, and now he can go for this kill, right? And then now he's using cover.
Okay, so my tank.
And then yeah, he's dodging. Okay, he's trying to maybe force more distraction and potentially get a kill. Hiding behind cover. Okay, and now he's peeking because his Sombra is attacking. Team timing, team synchronization, right? Yeah, so he almost, I think, he actually do get the kill. Amazing, right? So yeah, so basically what I'm really trying to say is that before he went in with this team, he was doing a lot of the just the scouting and resource management and jab. And this is what I want to talk about. In the poking phase, you don't want to be all-inning. Okay, and let me show you some other examples. So this is Donghack. I think Donghack, you know, is also a great example. So this is him playing Domina. Okay, so he's probably right now like top 5 tank. Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree. And if you watch this, okay, so he's just you know, using his E a little bit, peeking a little bit. So is he doing nothing? No, I mean, he's just peeking a little bit. And then he's hiding immediately and is cycling his E. He's getting healed and he's breaking the Symmetra turret. And then, yeah, he's just poking just very gently. Is he using all this cooldown like in the beginning? Not really. Okay, but now he's placing his barrier a little bit and then trying to have some, try to do some jab basically, right? Is he literally like walking up into the enemy team right now? Not really. Just he's trying to see, okay, like when's a good time for me to place the barrier? When's a good? How do I poke them? How do I basically get more resources out of it? Right? Yeah. So he wasn't using his barrier in the beginning because his team was actually pretty far. So his team won't be able to use the bubble like even. But now, yeah. Like I think maybe he was waiting out a couple cooldowns. And now, yeah, he's placing the barrier, and yeah, like their Ana is also going for the jab, and as you can see, their Domina is pretty low. Like this could have been a reasonably a kill, right? So this is a strong jab, but was he all-inning? Like was he literally like pushing in so hard? Not really, right? And then you may think, wow, this tank is so AFK, this tank is doing nothing. But not really, because he doesn't have his cooldown, he cannot really push in. He's not throwing. And this concept that I'm talking about, the default mode, is highly related to the chill pill video that I posted on my YouTube video. So you want to be just pretty chill until you see big signal, okay? So if you're playing Tracer and if you want to get a little bit closer and going for the jab, maybe you don't need a super high level of a threshold. You may just need a little bit of evidence, right? But for Domina, your cooldown is very long, and Domina doesn't really have a good escapability, so you want to be a little bit more careful with how you're engaging, right? It doesn't mean that you're going to be completely AFK, like doing nothing, but you're just really waiting to see those opportunities. And now, because of this small win, by the way, this is also important. Now, it seems like he's doing nothing, but he already forced them to hide behind this wall. And what this is going to do is that this is going to help my team take more space. He could have been taking space potentially, but as you can see, his DPS is already flanking over here in this room on the left, right? So yeah, so now he has another, yeah, flanking over here. So we have a better space soon. And then, yeah, like he's poking and going for the jab with this another barrier. So it's been a minute here, almost, as you can see on the clock, right? And this is what I mean by just, oh, chilling, looking for the evidence. And as you can see, yep, just we're really, really waiting for the big green light. And yeah, it's much better than like throwing and then not seeing any information and then just hoping this game, my team is somehow better and everything just magically works out. That is just you wishing you win the Overwatch ELO lottery. Okay, this isn't like a actual evidence, right? So now, because we're stopping them consistently, we're making enemy backline hide consistently. Our team has a good space, and we actually got the kill, right? And then we're consistently pressuring enemy backline whenever enemy backline peaks here. Okay, so now finally, when we get the kill, we're slowly pushing up, and then yeah, and even here, like he's not like up in their face immediately. He's taking one step closer, one step closer, one step closer, as you can see. So I think really good example of scouting, just almost like a chill pill example. Okay, and now. But he does push eventually, as you can see, right? So I want you to also see this example. I think this is also a great example. Okay. So, I think it was this one. Okay. Yeah, I think it was this one. Okay. So this is him playing Ramatra. Okay. And as you can see, he starts shooting at the enemy Orisa, but then immediately he switches to enemy backline. Because why? Enemy Orisa is tank and they're squishy. So if you can do the same amount of damage on their backline, and if you can make their enemy backline hide, that'll be very effective, right? So he immediately sees like this is a better target, right? These are one of the things we need to see. But if Orisa was like much further up, like way further up here, overextending, far from their backline, so they cannot get the Orisa cannot get heal, then we will be shooting at the Orisa. But so immediately his target selection is on point, and he's making the enemy backline hide. And not only that, he has actually got the kill with the help of his team, amazing Nate as well, right? So his target selection is on point, amazing. And when did he use his shield? When he sees the backline, right? So there's evidence for that. Is he just randomly throwing his tornado? Not really. He was intentionally throwing his tornado on the backline, and because of that, we get the kill. Isn't that amazing? I think that's amazing. Yeah. Now it seems like he's just walking up, but he's using cover pretty well. And also now we have a big green line. So yeah, and he sees there's a lot of enemy team, so he's just chilling a little bit instead of just like go 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 go. Yeah, and then once he see enemy entire team except the Vendetta is already stuffed behind this choke, now he walks up and clears the Vendetta, right? Yeah, and then yeah, stuffing their backline. So he's consistently like, oh, enemy backline, do you really want to peek? I'm gonna basically make you hide. I'm gonna basically make you unable to peek. So my backline has all the space, and you cannot peek, right? So. That's what he's doing, and then this is something that you will see from a lot of pro analysis. I just posted a Freya analysis video from Proud, and he does the same thing. He actually is really good as Freya to stuff the enemy backline and make enemy backline hide. Okay, so yeah, and this is the default mode that we really want to do. And I think next fight is also very interesting. So he cleans them up, and defense. I think this is also a masterpiece. Okay, so is he using any cooldown? No, he's maintaining his resources. He's not wasting his cooldown for no reason. I think which a lot of my students, even at like a really high level, like not even like GM, like literal champion players would have been just wasting a bunch of cooldowns because they just feel like it, right? Oh yeah, and I mean it is also kind of like stylistic too. But, if you basically see how patient he is, and I also want you to watch this. So now, enemy Orisa is coming out of the choke. So there's some evidence. But is this enough for him to invest his cooldown? Is this enough of a threshold that enemy Orisa is peaking? Not yet for him. Yeah, not yet for him. So he's holding on to his, cooldown, but now. Yeah, he's holding on to his cooldown, and then he's holding on to his cooldown. He's just walking up a little bit close, right? Amazing. Really holding on to his cooldown, and then scouting where my team is. Amazing. Is he tunneled on doing damage? No, he's just reading the situation, and the doing some extra damage is kind of like a bonus. This is almost like unconscious, right? Yeah. And then, so it really seems like to me, his primary job is to not even do damage, but more so just scouting and seeing the situation and then thinking, when is a good time for me to invest my cooldown? Yeah, and he's still doing the jab. He's not completely AFK. He's just shooting them and he's managing his resources, right? And now Orisa peeks out pretty wide, but he's not using any cooldown yet. But now, when does he use cooldown? As soon as the Sojourn peaks, as soon as their backline peaks. Very clear example of, okay, I am going to basically scout, manage my resources, and going for the jab, like not completely AFK. And depending on the character, depending on the comp, depending on the situation, your jab can be like, like pretty weak, like a 2 out of 10, power. Where depending on the composition or depending on your character, your jab can be like a 7 out of 10, pretty strong jab, right? But here he was really just holding on to his cooldown because he didn't really need to use any cooldown. If it was just Orisa picking into us, because my entire team can LOS me and then my entire team can LOS the Orisa, so it'll be like 4v1 or 3v1 at least. So why would I need to waste my shield? Which I swear, like even my champion students would have just wasted the couple cooldowns already and then just walk up to the Orisa and then like, let's take a fight because I'm Ramatra, because I feel like it, right? So now he uses his cooldown on the enemy Sojourn. So what happens? Sojourn needs to hide again, right? Sojourn is really feels like, I really have no space. God, like this is so miserable, and yeah, like see how much pressure this Sojourn is getting, and then like now he used the shield, but he still has a form and tornado. So Sojourn still feels pretty pressured to peak, and as you can see, this is what happens, right? So he is really trying to stop them with using the tornado and everything, right? And then now the situation is not looking good, so he backs a little bit, but now he's like kind of walking up again because yeah, his team has numbers advantage, and then it seems like looks like he can hold this, and he has a shield again. So enemy Sojourn had to hide again, right? So and this is really what I mean by the default mode, right? If Donghack had hypothetically had a really bad default mode, like any Plat Master, or even some GM students, or yeah, then he would be just walking up to this Orisa and then take the fight and then use all the cooldown, and the Sojourn takes all the space for free, and potentially our backline gets killed or whatever, and then God, why is my backline dying to Sojourn? Because probably you waste all your cooldown or whatever. Okay, so yeah, and this is also Donghack. Okay, I have a lot of Donghack example today. I mean, I really think he's like pretty good. I mean, he's literally like top 5 tank right now. I think most people would agree. So this is the first fight. Koth, and he sees the enemy team, scout, and he wonders automatically. What is my team's comp? Wait, what's going on? Aha, my team's AFK. So he looks at my team. Okay, my team didn't even take the space. Okay, let me just go back. It is what it is. My team is trolling. Even at this champion tier lobby. So, and he picks Bastion, or they pick Bastion. Oh my god, what a lovely player. Not that Bastion is like bad or anything, get the idea. Anyways, yeah, now they go Soldier. So he immediately understands this. It's not like, oh, I am like really good player, and I'm playing against this like retired like player, who's formerly played for Seoul Dynasty, but he's no longer even professional player. So I can just 4v5 or whatever. He just respects the enemy team and just really scouts. I mean, sometimes I see this, and sometimes I don't, right? But a lot of even like GM master players don't really see that their team was actually AFK, right? And then he's really trying to scout, see what's going on, like looking at my team, looking at Tracer, yeah. And then this is important. So whenever you have the trick to this in when you're in the poking phase, okay? So how you scout is there are some moments you need to be focusing on your aim, okay? So basically, if this is the time, as the time goes, the first like 3 seconds you're just scouting, okay? you're scouting, like looking at my team, looking at the enemy team, and then let's say you, as a tracer, maybe you see enemy team not looking at you, so you go for like a quick jab. Okay, when you're going for the jab, then you need to be focusing on your aim, like your mechanic, right? But then this might be maybe 2 seconds. Okay, and then that tracer player, the fixation example, the player was looking at the enemy team for 20 seconds. Fixation. This is not good. But, focusing on your aim for 2 seconds when you're actually in combat is good. But then as soon as that, like when you're getting behind cover, when you're reloading, that's the time, or when you're kind of like this Donghek example, when you're not really mentally in full capacity, like this isn't too dangerous. There's no big threat. It's Orisa shooting at you from far range, and then you're getting healed, so you're not really in danger. Now in this situation, you're not really like focusing on your aim. Maybe you can be spending like 30% of your mental energy for aim, like reading the Orisa movement, but like you don't have to focus too much on your aim. This is more like a scouting phase, right? Yeah, but there are times when you have to be walking up to them and then doing some focus on your aim. But then as soon as that happens, maybe if you're playing Ana, like if you're shooting at the enemy target who's exposed for maybe 2 shots or 3 shots, but then as soon as shooting at them for like 2 shots or 3 shots, after 2 seconds or so, you want to be coming back to the scouting mode. Okay, and then if you see any like opportunity, you want to be going for another quick combat like aim, but then you really want to be coming back to the scouting. So I mean, we are going to talk about even when you're aiming, you need to be scouting for the combat cue. There are things that you will be scouting for even when you're doing the combat, like enemy vision, enemy movement. You really want to be reading the enemy movement. And if your crosshair is lined up, we're also going to have our aim coach Schroger have this curriculum for improving our mechanic, and you guys will be learning in these moments we need to be looking out for enemy movement and my shot timing and like all that. So there are different things, list of things that we want to be looking out for when you're in combat situation, when you're aiming. But these are the things that we want to be looking out when we are in the scouting mode. Okay, yeah. So I'm really trying to make it easy. So basically, really important thing is that you want to be focus shifting. Damage and scout, damage, scout, like just basically whenever you give yourself time to scout every like 70% of the poking phase, right? Just a little bit of aim time, but let me just get back to scouting mode, right? Instead of just a long fixation, right? I think that's gonna really change your mindset. And most people who fail to scout is because they're in this damage addiction without even them realizing. Okay, and then they are not managing their resources. Yeah, but again, you don't want to be completely AFK. Okay, so let me watch this Pelican example again. We watched this from the first video, the how to get master and GM. But basically, he is going for the jab, he's getting healed, and he's not like fully engaging on the enemy Echo, like, oh, Echo's half HP, like, let me just go in. No, Echo still has both cooldown, as you can see. And Echo isn't immediately killable, right? Echo's getting healed, I'm getting healed, so we're just chilling, we're just, scouting, and then he listens, he heard the queen engaging, so he sees the queen engaging, so he's walking up, okay? So he's getting much closer, he sees the queen shout, so he wants to be following up on the team engagement, and then now, why is he going to the Echo? Because enemy supports are distracted, and then my team's already down, and then Echo's kind of killable, like half HP and no cooldown. Echo already used the fly. So now it makes much more sense, right? Yeah, so that's why he was going for that, and then, like here, he's just chilling using cover, and then when Echo is actually no fly, maybe not getting healed, I'm not sure. But then my Ana is actually shooting at the Echo, so Echo is very killable now. And my Juno was actually shooting together. So whenever you have a very clear evidence, he's engaging with it. But basically, before he sees a big trigger, he's maintaining his resources, managing his resources. He's scouting. Where's my team? Who's overextending? Who's low HP? He's looking out for all these. And then when he sees the evidence, so a lot of these players, high-level players' plays are based on evidence. Oh, why am I going in? Because my Winston is engaging. And why am I going in? Because my, tank, like Jungkook Queen is engaging. Why am I dashing in? Because enemy Echo no fly, and then my team shooting at the Echo, and enemy Echo is already like 30% HP, immediately killable, right? So there's a clear evidence. It's not like a randomized, oh please, just let me just get lucky. And so a lot of your play should make sense. You need to know that you're winning or before it already happens. It basically need to make sense. Like to Pelican, killing this Echo completely made sense, right? Yeah. Okay. And for Donghak pushing, or yeah, and Donghak pushing in Midtown, that completely makes sense. He was just waiting for over a minute, just patiently. Okay. So these are really the key things that I really want to emphasize. And then the focus shifting. We're gonna go much deeper into this topic later, but this is like a really easy, simple down version for focus shifting. You want to be kind of like go for like a general scouting mode, and you want to be in the combat mode, but you don't want to be fixated tunneling in the combat mode for like 20 seconds, like this example, fixating. You don't want to be in that damage addiction, like aim addiction mode, okay? So that's going to be very important. And in the poking phase, you really want to be, looking out for these evidences. And we are going to be going through the module, like week 1, we're going to be like going for this, and the 3 days later, we're going to be going for like looking for other modules, and then we're going to basically help you see these things by, okay, this is how Donghak sees his distancing, and this is how Capster manipulates enemy vision and all that, right? We're going to be going through each module, so we're going to help you develop your eyes for seeing this. But basically, the key idea for today's lesson is that even if I wanted to teach you, you can't learn this because you're not even in the ready state. How do you get ready? You need to basically have your default mode as a scouting mindset, managing your resources, and going for jab. Not completely AFK, maybe using maybe 30% of your resources to basically create green. Like I think I'm going to have a separate video for jab because it's a really big concept for me. But yeah, you can basically try to distract a little bit, and you can try to do some damage if you see green light, but then you don't want to be all in it unless you see like a big green light. Okay, so this is jab. Yeah, I mean, some players don't really do anything, literally AFK, not going for the jab. That's also bad. Or some players really go too hard instead of going for the jab, like all in all the time. So this is going to be really, really big concept. And in the future, very soon, I'll make more videos for jab, and then I'll make more videos for the spiral learning Exodia card methodology. Okay, see you guys next time. Thank you.